Hi, I'm Chris, 32, and last Sunday my dad called me a doormat at the kitchen table, right before finding out I'd been paying his bills behind the scenes for 8 years. What came next cracked our entire family open like a cheap piñata full of debt and lies. Let me tell you something about my dad. He believes 2 things, that men don't cry and that Emma, my sister, is an angel who keeps this family afloat. Never mind that she's never paid a mortgage payment in her life. Never mind that when she moved home after college, the first thing she did was sign up for a gym membership she never used and get a puppy that needed hip surgery 6 months in. Dad says she's the golden child because she shows up, which apparently means posting family brunches on Instagram and forwarding my mom's spa coupons I end up paying for. I'm the other one. The invisible one. The responsible one. The guy who sends his bank info to a joint account while stationed 3 countries over, in a tent that leaks every time the sky gets emotional. When my booths split, I taped them. When my sister needed textbooks, I wired $600 and got a selfie with her holding a latte and saying, "You're the best, big bro." She didn't tag me in the photo. That should have been the first sign. Sunday night, I came home on leave. I brought pie. Because I'm that guy. The kitchen was too clean, the table too set, like a holiday with no guests. The good plates were out. Emma was texting like she was trying to win a gold medal. Mom had her "we're pretending things are fine" face on, and Dad was drinking decaf like it was straight bourbon. Then he said it. "You're a total doormat," he muttered, tapping his fork against his plate. "Look at your sister. She pays our bills." I blinked so hard I thought my contact popped out. "Dad, what?" He leaned back like he'd scored a touchdown. "She's the one stepping up. Always has been." Emma didn't look up from her phone. My mom stared at the lemon centerpiece like it might offer an escape route. I felt something cold twist in my chest. I asked the question too calm, like someone who doesn't trust their own voice. "What about the money I send you every month?" Dad blinked. Then smirked. "What money?" That's when everything stopped. The room got weirdly quiet, like even the air wasn't sure what to do. I turned to Emma. She swallowed so hard I saw her collarbone shift. She didn't meet my eyes. "Say it," I told her. "Chris, this isn't the time." "It's exactly the time." Dad pointed his fork like it was a badge. "Don't raise your voice in this house." "Then answer me," I said, still calm, still sitting. "What money?" My phone buzzed right then. A banking notification. Auto transfer. $1,200. Right on time. I put the phone on the table like a playing card and slid it toward him. And just like that, the quiet turned into something else. Something sharp. And something real. "Okay," I said. "Then let's talk." Emma stood so fast her chair nearly fell. "Chris, please don't do this." I didn't flinch. "Do what?" "Speak." Dad scoffed. "Don't embarrass yourself. We didn't ask you to do anything." I reached into my backpack, pulled out a printout, yes, paper, because I don't come to family dinners without ammunition anymore, and laid it next to my phone. It was a spreadsheet. Every transfer for the past 8 years. Date, amount, label. The whole financial autopsy. You didn't ask. You implied. You suggested. You hinted with just enough guilt to trigger a wire transfer. Mom finally looked up. "Don't be dramatic. You said you wanted to help." I did help. I do help. But help isn't the same thing as being fleeced in silence. Emma's eyes filled. "Chris, I didn't mean to take credit." "You didn't mean to get caught." I corrected. Dad pushed back from the table. "You want a thank you? Fine. Thanks. There. Feel better?" "No," I said quietly. "Because I didn't come for thanks. I came for the truth." He crossed his arms. "We needed that money." "I know," I said. "I read every message. The roof's leaking. The car's dead. Emma's laptop crashed. The heat bill doubled." I tapped the printout. "But then there's day spa, home goods, and flights to Austin when no one mentioned a job interview. So now I'm wondering, did you need the money, or did you just stop caring where it came from?" Mom looked down. Emma sat again. Dad walked to the fridge like he could physically leave the conversation. I stood and followed. I paid the property tax twice. The second time because you forgot it was already paid. I replaced the furnace. I covered the $2,800 dental bill when Mom cracked a crown on a frozen grape. I didn't blink. We said we'd pay you back. Emma whispered. You said it. But no one ever meant it. And I didn't ask, because I thought that was love. I thought being the reliable one made me good. Until I realized it made me invisible. Dad turned. Don't get all high and mighty. You think this makes you some hero? No, I said, locking eyes. I think it makes me the adult in the room. He opened his mouth. Closed it. Mom finally spoke, small and sharp. So what, you're cutting us off? No, I said. I'm changing the rules. She scoffed. This is still our house. And it's still my money. Until that changes, the rules are mine. Emma leaned forward, voice trembling. What are the rules? I pointed at the spreadsheet. From now on, verified expenses only. You send the bill, I review it. No more joint card. No more vague emergencies. No more gaslighting about who pays what. And if we say no? Dad asked. Then you pay it yourself. That's when he said the line that lit the fuse. You think you're better than us. I didn't blink. No. I think I've just finally stopped trying to be smaller so you'll feel bigger. He stared like I'd slapped him. Emma was crying now. Mom was quiet. I picked up the spreadsheet, folded it, and put it in my coat pocket. My voice was calm when I spoke again. This isn't revenge. It's clarity. If you need help, ask. If I can, I will. If I can't, I won't. But we're done pretending. Then I walked out. Not in anger. Not in shame. Just in peace. 3 days later, the group chat exploded like it had been soaked in kerosene, and someone finally lit a match. It started with a photo, my dad and Emma standing in front of a new washer-dryer set, posted by Mom with the caption, "So proud of our girl. She keeps this house running." I didn't respond. I just stared at the picture like it might rearrange itself into something less insane. That's when Aunt Linda chimed in. Emma's always been the generous one. Just like her mother. Followed by a line of heart emojis and a gif of someone blowing kisses. Then Cousin Jake, the human parrot, added, Chris could learn a thing or two. I typed 3 words. Not anymore. And muted the thread. 5 minutes later, Emma called. I let it go to voicemail. She texted, I didn't post it. That was Mom. I swear. Then, please don't be mad. I wasn't mad. I was done. There's a difference. That afternoon I went to the bank, closed the joint account, and moved every remaining cent into a new one labeled Chris only. The teller asked if I wanted overdraft protection. I said no. If someone tried to take more than I had, I wanted the system to scream. At home, I opened my laptop and canceled all automatic transfers, utilities, mortgage, even the annual pest control I'd paid for out of sheer habit. That night, I slept a full 8 hours without once dreaming about overdue bills. But silence has a way of turning up the volume on guilt. Day 4, Mom left a voicemail. The power company messed up our bill again. We're a little short this month. Call me, sweetheart. I texted back. Send me the full statement. 4 hours later, I got a photo of the envelope. Just the envelope. Face side only. Like she was hoping I'd just trust her. I wrote, Open it. Take a photo of the inside. She waited another 2 hours before sending it. On time. Regular amount. No mistake. I paid it. Boundaries aren't revenge. They're terms. You ring the bell. You show the bill. If it's legit, I help. If not, I don't. Emma showed up at my apartment a week later. Grocery bag in one arm, guilt in the other. I'm sorry, she said at the door. Hair up, no makeup, sweatshirt I hadn't seen since college. I believe you, I said. But now we build a new system. She followed me inside like a student who forgot to study. I gave her a photocopy of the spreadsheet and a sticky note with one number. $50 a week. Her face twisted. You made me a payment plan? I made us both a muscle plan. You build yours. I stop overbuilding mine. She dropped onto the couch and held the paper like it might bite. You're serious? Dead. She nodded slowly, then grinned. You're such a Marine. I smiled. Turns out I like plans. We ate eggs and toast, laughed a little. She did the dishes without being asked. On the way out, she handed me a $50 bill. First payment. I put it in a jar on the dresser. Not because I needed it. Because she needed to give it. Emma's first payment was a wrinkled 50 that smelled like her car, peppermint gum and dog treats. I stuck it in a mason jar and labeled it debt jar, no interest, just growth. It wasn't about the money. It was about building a new pattern. She needed to feel the weight of her yes. I needed to stop assuming responsibility was a one-player game. The next week, she sent a Venmo payment on Friday with the note. Look at me adulting. The week after, she forgot. Sent 2 the following Sunday. Then 3 weeks went by without a hitch, and I'll admit it, I started to feel something like hope. Not the they've changed forever kind. Just the maybe we're crawling in the right direction kind. Mom didn't like the new arrangement. She started sending little digs. Photos of Dad with his knee brace and captions like, "Can't believe we raised someone who turned his back on family." One time she posted a throwback of Emma in her cap and gown with the caption, "We're so proud of the one who gives without keeping score." That one almost made me throw my phone off the fire escape. I didn't respond. I'm not in the scorekeeping business anymore. Just the accountability business. Dad, meanwhile, doubled down on public fiction. One week it was, Emma got us a new lawnmower. We're so blessed. The next, grateful for kids who show up when it matters. I knew exactly when those posts dropped. Same days the bills arrived. Same days I said, "Send me the statement." Every time, Mom dragged her feet. Every time, the envelope magically appeared. Every time, I paid it, if it was real. Then came the real test, Grandma's birthday. Family dinner at Aunt Linda's house. I almost skipped it. Sam, woman I'd been seeing, told me, "Not going is peace. Going is growth." I still don't know if she meant that as encouragement, or a dare. So I went. Wore jeans with no holes. Brought a store-bought cake because I wasn't going to pretend this was a warm, fuzzy memory reel. We were halfway through dry brisket when Uncle Mike raised his glass and said, "Let's hear it for Emma. This girl right here, she's the reason this family's still standing." And I don't know what clicked in me, but I stood up. Calm. Not angry. Just done. "Quick correction," I said. "For 8 years I covered the bills. Emma said she did. That ends now. We're all learning new habits." You could hear a fork scrape a plate. Emma didn't look up. Aunt Linda looked like someone had slapped her appetizer tray. Mom gasped. Dad's jaw flexed. "Grandma?" She cackled. "Finally," she said, waving her fork in approval. "The boy grew a spine." And then she took another bite of potato salad like she'd been waiting for that moment since the Clinton administration. Everyone froze, waiting for someone to blow up. No one did. People pivoted. Jake asked about my deployment. Aunt Linda complimented Emma's haircut without mentioning a single dollar sign. Life didn't end. We just stopped lying out loud. After dessert, Dad cornered me by the coat rack. "You humiliated me," he said, voice low. "No," I said, voice even. "You did that when you lied long enough to believe it." He leaned in, hot breath and hurt pride. "You think you're better than me?" I shook my head. "I think I'm finally being me." He looked stunned. Like he didn't recognize me with a spine. "Get out," he said. "I will," I said, pulling on my jacket. "And next month, when the mortgage is due, if you need help, you know the rule." He didn't answer. And that silence? That was progress. When I got home that night, there was an envelope slipped under my door. No return address. Just my name and Emma's tight, looping handwriting. Inside? A $50 bill and a sticky note. "I told Grandma the truth too," she said, "about damn time." I didn't cry. I didn't even smile. I just put the 50 in the jar and felt something shift. Not a light switch. More like a gear catching after a long grind. Next day, I did something that felt stupid and necessary. I opened a new savings account labeled Chris Only. Every payday, the first thing I did was move money into that account. Rent. Food. Truck repairs. A section for fun, yes, fun. And I actually used it. I bought a second-hand guitar off a guy named Melvin in a Walmart parking lot. I fixed the squeaky driver's side door on my truck. I took Sam to a minor league game and didn't spend the whole time checking my phone, wondering when the next emergency would pull me back into the guilt spiral. Freedom came in weird shapes. Like eating pancakes on a Sunday and not checking my banking app between bites. Like going on a run and not mentally calculating how many bills I'd have to cover that month. Like walking into Target and buying deodorant and the good socks without rationing. Emma kept up her payments. Every Friday, like clockwork, she'd Venmo $50 with a sticker or a dumb caption. One said, "Here's your weekly dose of being right." Another, "No spa days, I promise." Sometimes she sent screenshots to prove it. Sometimes she forgot, then sent double. I didn't hound her. The point wasn't the money. It was the motion. She was learning. I was unlearning. 2 months in, she posted a photo on social media, a sunrise over the driveway and the caption, "Learning to speak the truth even when I want to be liked." Mom replied with a row of eye-roll emojis. Dad commented, "Family business is private." I didn't touch it. Let them stew in it. Let them figure out how truth tastes without a sugarcoat. The real shift came the following Tuesday. Emma called. Not texted, called. She said, "Can we go over the spreadsheet together?" I blinked. "You want to read it?" "Yeah," she said. "I think I need to really see how deep I let it get. I want to know what I owe. Fully." I paused. Then said, "Okay. Bring wine. You're gonna need it." That night she sat on my couch with a glass of cheap Merlot and her hair in a messy braid. She looked different. Not smaller. Just real. We went line by line. We laughed. We winced. We gasped at the $3,500 emergency wire from my second deployment. She covered her mouth. "I was in Cabo that week," she whispered. "I know," I said. "You posted a photo with a caption about finding yourself." The irony was intense. She didn't defend it. She didn't cry. She just nodded. At the end, she looked at me. I was really good at pretending I was good. I reached across the table. "Now let's get good at being honest." We weren't healed. We were just in rehab. Emma left that night with her copy of the spreadsheet folded neatly in her purse, the same way she used to carry apology notes to teachers in 5th grade after accidentally forgetting homework. She texted later, "Thank you for not burning the whole bridge down." I replied, "Just rerouted traffic." The next curveball came from my mother. She called at 7:12 a.m. sharp. Her version of a peace offering is still laced with passive aggression. "The mortgage is due," she snapped like it was my job description. "Send me the statement," I said. "I don't report to you." "Then you don't get my money." I hung up. Not with anger. With clarity. An hour later, she sent the statement. I paid it. 50 minutes after that, she sent a follow-up text. "Thank you?" Just that. With a period. Like she'd been forced to write it on a chalkboard 100 times. Progress. "Dad?" He doubled down on the drama. He left a voicemail that started with, "You're acting high and mighty," and ended with, "Don't bother showing your face around here if you're gonna act like the IRS." Then he texted me a photo of the house with the caption, "You think you own this?" I didn't reply. I just called the mortgage company and removed my name from the account. If I wasn't going to be thanked or consulted, I definitely wasn't going to be legally responsible. That was a strange kind of freedom. A Tuesday morning where I didn't spend 20 minutes refreshing a banking app. A Thursday where I bought the fancy dish soap just because I liked the smell. A Friday where I took a full lunch break instead of wolfing down calories between budgeting tasks and guilt loops. Emma kept paying her $50. Some weeks it came early. Some weeks it came late. She started keeping track herself, like a kid with chore stickers trying to impress her own reflection. Once, she sent me a meme of a dog holding a dollar bill in its mouth. Caption: Me, every Friday now. I started to realize, she wasn't just trying to make up for the money. She was learning the rhythm of responsibility. The weight of consistency. One Friday night she called. I just sent next week's early because I'm going on a camping trip with friends. No Wi-Fi. I almost dropped the phone. You planned ahead? Shut up. She laughed. Turns out, budgets make you feel like less of a train wreck. Who knew? You. You knew. And you're annoying about it. I smiled. Damn right. That same week, I bought a new pair of boots. Not duct-taped, not second-hand. Real ones. Full tread. My size. They squeaked a little at first, but they made me walk different. Like I wasn't rushing to outrun someone else's emergency. Then Sunday came. Grandma's birthday dinner. Again. Yeah, they tried another one. This time, the whole family showed. Big turnout. Aunt Linda baked the sad meatloaf again. Cousin Jake brought his new girlfriend who looked like she hadn't been briefed on the minefield she was walking into. The table chatter was all about Emma's job, Dad's knee, and someone's busted fence. Then Uncle Mike raised a glass. To Emma, our rock, our helper, the one who keeps things going. I didn't stand this time. I just leaned forward, calm as sunrise. Quick correction, I said. Emma used to take credit for what I was paying. That's done now. She's making real progress, and real payments. Let's celebrate that. Forks paused. Glasses hovered. Someone coughed. Jake muttered, "Oh damn," under his breath. Emma looked up from her water. Chris is right. I'm owning my part now. I wasn't before. That's on me. Silence. Then Grandma, bless her steel-spined soul, nodded. About damn time. She raised her glass to me. Here's to the one who stopped funding lies. And taught us all how to send a damn receipt. Cheers followed. Real ones. The tide had turned. After Grandma's birthday dinner, things got quiet. Not the awkward kind. Not the eggshells everywhere kind. Real quiet. The kind where you're not waiting for a crisis call at 2 a.m. or watching your phone like it owes you an apology. The kind that lets your brain take a full breath. Emma texted later that night. Thanks for having my back. Even when you're kicking it. I replied. Kicking builds muscle. You're welcome. Dad stayed silent for a week. I figured he was licking his ego wounds and sharpening a passive-aggressive speech. Instead, I got something entirely different. A phone call. From him. I was sitting in my truck outside the boxing gym where I'd started volunteering, teaching kids how to wrap their hands and keep their balance like life was about to punch them. It rang twice. I stared at the screen like it might explode. Hello? A long exhale. Your mother says I should talk to you. I didn't say anything. I just waited. The mortgage is due, he said finally, like it was a confession. Send me the statement. I replied. A pause. Not loaded this time. Just quiet. Emma told me she's paying you back. She is. She told me you made a plan. A spreadsheet. With rules. I could hear the unfamiliar shape of the word in his mouth. Plan. Like it was a foreign dish he wasn't sure he liked. I did. Another pause. Then, I hate plans. I know, I said. He exhaled again. But I shouldn't have called you a doormat. You shouldn't have. I was angry. I was invisible. Silence. We can't undo that, Dad, I added. But we can decide what we do next. He cleared his throat. Send me that budget thing. The spreadsheet. Something in my chest shifted. A click. Like a door opening. I'll send a blank template, I said. We can go over it together, or you can do it alone. Your call. He was quiet for so long I thought he hung up. Then, your voice is different. Yeah, I said. It's mine now. A beat. Your mom made chicken, he said awkwardly. His version of, I miss you. I'm busy tonight, I said. But I can come Sunday. 1 hour. We talk bills. Not feelings. Not history. Bills. Deal, he said. On Sunday, I showed up with printed copies, a highlighter, and a sharp pencil. The same kitchen table. Same lemon centerpiece. Same dad. But I was different. We mapped the month: mortgage, utilities, dad's PT, the dog's shots. Wants in orange. Wishful thinking in red. We marked 3 calls he had to make. 2 I promised to make if he wrote the questions first. Emma came in halfway through, slid $50 on the table, and said nothing. Just sat. Mom hovered for a while, arms crossed, then finally sat too. She asked what APR meant. Dad almost made a joke, but didn't. Instead, he explained it. Plain and simple. It wasn't a Hallmark moment. No hugs. No violins. But it was real. And real is more rare than love in my family. When I left, the spreadsheet was lighter than usual. And so was my chest. Driving home from that budgeting summit, I rolled the window down and let the fall air slap me awake. The streets smelled like hot brakes and mulch leaves. The city was winding down for the night, but I felt like something was just beginning. Or maybe I was just finally walking around without someone else's weight on my back. At a red light, I thought about 19-year-old me, hunched over a laptop in a barracks tent, wiring money home and telling himself, this is what a good son does. Now, 32-year-old me knew something better. Love isn't measured in overdraft fees and silence. Love without boundaries turns into debt with interest. And boundaries without love? That's just exile. The sweet spot is a fence. With a gate. And a bell. And a sign that says, if you knock, be real. If you lie, don't bother. I still pay for things, when it's right. When it's real. But I don't fund fiction anymore. Emma stuck to the payment plan. $50 a week. Sometimes early. Sometimes late. One time she handed me cash in person and said, I'm not doing this because I owe you. I'm doing it because I need to remember how to hold my end. I nodded and said, that's the whole point. She even printed out her own copy of the spreadsheet. Highlighted. Annotated. Color-coded. I didn't ask her to. Mom stopped trying to sneak spa days past me. She still sends guilt-laced texts sometimes. Your father's struggling. But I treat them like weather reports. Check for the actual data. Then decide. Dad kept his distance until one Thursday afternoon when he texted. Got the medical bill. It's real. Can I split it with you? That was the first time in 10 years he'd ever offered to split anything. I sent back. Yes. Send your half by Friday. I'll handle the rest. It arrived on Thursday night. Emma posted something online a month later. A photo of a chipped coffee mug on her desk and the caption. Healing feels like honesty. Even when it's quiet. Especially then. I didn't comment. I didn't have to. She knew I saw it. 3 months after that, I got an envelope in the mail. No return address. Just Chris written across the front in careful handwriting I hadn't seen in years. Inside was a stack of $50 bills. $1,000 in total. And a note. I can't undo what I took. But I can prove what I've learned. I know it doesn't cover it all. But it's a start. I want to earn back your trust, not just your money. I put the cash in the jar. Not because I needed it. But because it meant something had changed. Not in a Hollywood way. Not a hug-it-out moment. Just real. Some nights now, I sit on my fire escape with that second-hand guitar. My fingers still fumble the chords. The city buzzes below, headlights painting stripes across buildings. And I breathe. Not the kind of breath you take when you're bracing for someone else's panic. The kind you take when you realize you're safe. Because you built the safety. The last time Emma stopped by, she looked around my apartment and said, It feels lighter in here. I said, It's not the apartment. She grinned. You know, I used to think you were just quiet. But you weren't. You were disappearing to make room for us. I nodded. Never again. She handed me a 50, laughed, and said, You're gonna need a bigger jar. Maybe. Or maybe I'll stop keeping a jar altogether. Because healing isn't just making people repay you. It's choosing when you're done carrying things that were never yours to hold. And me? I'm done. Still kind. Still strong. Still Chris. Just not invisible anymore.